What is December in Portugal really like? Is the weather nice? Can you still find fun things to do in the winter? What should you even pack? In this video, I'll answer all of these questions and more to help you decide whether December in Portugal is a worthwhile trip for you, or if you should rethink your travel plans. A few years ago, while I was spending extended time in Europe, a friend of mine embarked on her very first solo trip. And because it was her first solo trip, she asked if I would join her for a part of it. And that is how I ended up spending a weekend in Lisbon, Portugal, right smack dab in the middle of December, specifically December 10th through 12th. And after that, I actually went and spent some time in Madrid, Spain. That's a story for another video. Before this, I had only visited Portugal in spring or summer months, so visiting in winter was new for me. Now, for transparency's sake, you should know that while I was there in December for those 2 days, I was not able to see or experience all of Portugal firsthand. I only spent time on that trip in Lisbon and took a day trip to Sintra, but I have done my research, so I'm able to give you some insight into other areas of Portugal as well, and that is what I'll do in this video. Very likely, the first most important thing you're curious about is the weather. What is the weather in Portugal in December like? The good news is that on average, Portugal enjoys 300 days of sunshine a year. As a Chicagoan, that's automatically a reason for me to spend some time in Portugal any time of the year. Even in December in Portugal, I got to experience some sunshiny blue sky days. On our day trip to Sintra, we did experience a little bit more of mist, I would say, not full-on rain, but it actually added to the atmosphere and didn't last the whole day. Let's talk more about the weather in Portugal in December in different areas of the country. In Lisbon, you can expect an average temperature in December of around 15 degrees Celsius or 59 degrees Fahrenheit. In Porto, it can be a little chillier and wetter, with temperatures averaging between 5 degrees and 14 degrees Celsius or 41 to 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Porto is to the north of Lisbon. As you go further south, you can experience an even milder winter. Lisbon itself is more considered to be central Portugal. If you were to go all the way south to the Algarve region, you'd find average temperatures between 12 to 19 degrees Celsius or 59 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty nice for December, I would say. You might need a light jacket down there, and you most likely could still participate in the different water sports like windsurfing, but actually going swimming may or may not be a possibility for you during this season. Now, you could also go southwest of Lisbon to the island of Madeira. Here you may experience average temperatures between 16 to 20 degrees Celsius or 61 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you're looking for a warm weather experience in Portugal in December, you likely want to make your way here. Madeira also, fun fact, has previously received the Guinness World Record for the largest fireworks display. It was awarded that all the way back in 2006, but I bet you it's still a great place to ring in the new year. Now, in terms of what to pack and what to wear in December in Portugal, I typically wore jeans, waterproof and slip-resistant ankle boots, sweaters, and a fleece-lined waterproof jacket with a hood. It was all much more lightweight than what you'd catch me wearing in Chicago in December. It's all relative. I also kept a scarf and a pair of fleece-lined leggings with me, which are really good for layering under your jeans or your trousers on days when you're feeling a little bit extra cold. Now let's talk about the benefits of visiting Portugal in December. First and foremost, right, you'll experience fewer crowds because you're not going in peak season. And after my most recent visit to Portugal, to Lisbon, in fact, last September, I would much rather visit in December than during peak season. Fewer crowds not only means it's easier and more comfortable to simply walk the streets of the city, but also getting seats at restaurants where you want to dine and getting tickets for the activities you want to participate in is easier. Hotel accommodations could also be more affordable when you travel off-peak season. Also, a lot of accommodations in Lisbon or in Portugal, especially if you're going the Airbnb route, may not have AC. So by visiting in the winter months, that's one less issue, one less filter you have to apply, one less thing you have to look for in terms of where you're going to stay to ensure you're going to be comfortable. Visiting in December also allows you to get a taste of the European Christmas market scene because you'll find those scattered all around Portugal. You can try seasonal dishes and overall enjoy a cozier vibe. On the flip side, if your idea of a vacation doesn't include some kind of coat, some kind of sweater, or even a lightweight jacket, you might want to think twice. And also, if you have plans to visit a smaller coastal town, you might want to do some additional research around, does this town that you're interested interested in sort of stay open all year or shut down, because I have experienced smaller coastal towns in Europe, in different countries, that completely shut down when tourism season is not at its peak. So in that case, the places you have your sights set on to visit may not have enough going on in December for you to truly enjoy yourself. Finally, let's talk about some of the best things to do in Portugal in December. If you are into either skiing or surfing, then make your way to Portugal in December for sure, because you can do both of these things depending on where in Portugal you end up. You can stay at a resort near Serra da Estrela, which I will put a QR code here so you can link over and check out what's on offer there if you are interested in skiing. For surfing, you can spend some time in Nazaré or Ericeira. I'll link to my full blog post in the description that details out all the information covered in this video and then some, so you can explore all of the options. There are also, like I mentioned earlier, so many Christmas markets to explore scattered all around Portugal, and there were several within just Lisbon alone. The hotel where I stayed, which I'll put a QR code to here if you want to check that out, was right on one of the main squares, Rocio Square, and there was a Christmas market right at our doorstep. Lisbon also has a larger Christmas market. It's more of a winter wonderland, slightly outside. You might need a car or a train to get to it from the exact center, but not too far off, that you could explore as well. Now, one must do in Portugal is attending a Fado show. Fado is a traditional type of Portuguese music. It is sort of like folklore music. There's beautiful instruments involved and really talented vocalists. It's very emotionally evocative and definitely recommend exploring it. And I actually think December is the perfect time to set a cozy atmosphere for experiencing the magic of a Fado show. I booked this one, which I will link in the description as well as put a QR code to on the screen. This was a food and Fado tour. I did this last September while I was in Lisbon, and I actually went solo and met a lovely group of people. We had a local guide, and we actually started with an informative walking tour around some of the popular neighborhoods within Lisbon. We even stopped for some food tastings along the way, so that was really nice. And eventually we were led to the small local bar where we sat and had a 3-course meal while a Fado performance was going on. It was truly lovely, so I highly recommend booking a Fado experience, and I really recommend the one that I did because I can vouch for it. Did it. It was wonderful. One last thing to do that I'll mention in this video in particular, although there are so many more things you can do in Portugal, is if you find yourself in Lisbon, definitely take a day trip out to Sintra. Now, some things to know about this. You can get to Sintra from Lisbon by train, and I recommend, if you plan to take the train back, which you likely will, buy a round-trip ticket. Because the last time I was there with my friend in December, there was no ticket office open for us to be able to buy our return tickets from Sintra to Lisbon. I won't get into the details, but we managed to find our way back. But I strongly recommend book a round-trip ticket from the ticket office in Lisbon if you're taking the train out to Sintra. There are a lot of guided day tours that you can book to get to Sintra. I have a whole post about that, so you can find the right one for you, and I'm going to put the QR code again here to that post. But if you want to do it on your own, you can. It's just a little bit more tedious. Once you arrive at the Sintra train station, there are going to be a lot of different people who are likely going to come up to you and offer different tours. If you're interested in that, great. If not, what we did was we called an Uber because we knew exactly where we were headed, and we made our way to our first destination. And from there, we wanted to go to Cabo da Roca, which I have been to before. It's the westernmost point of Europe. You can get incredible views, especially incredible sunset views. The important thing to note here is whether you take a taxi or an Uber to get there, which you'll need to do one of those, you want to ask your driver to wait for you there, because it's not so easy to get a return ride back to Sintra from Cabo da Roca. Maybe you can offer them an additional cash amount to wait for you there for, 20 to 30 minutes while you get your pictures and explore. It's beneficial for them. They don't have to come right all the way out there and go back, without any passenger. And it's beneficial for you to ensure that you have a ride back to where you need to go. For even more ideas of all the things to do in Lisbon in particular, check out my guides on the blog. You can access them them through the QR code on the screen, or I'll put the links to some of them in the description below. Overall, December can be a great month to visit Portugal, and you can customize your itinerary and decide where within the country you want to spend that time based on your personal preferences, as there's enough variety in terms of climate and activities to choose from. Enjoy your visit!